this. So we're going to log into game number 1, best of 5 series, round of 32, upper bracket, as part of the ESOC Stay-at-Home Cup. $750 on the line in this tournament, a charity event, all Twitch subscriptions and bits. It's Twitch bits. I don't know what to call them. I guess like you don't really donate bits. You receive bits. You give bits. All bits received through Twitch will go to charity, Sacred Heart's charity in San Jose, to help assist people facing homelessness in San Jose, California, due to COVID, unemployment, things like that. So all that will go to charity. And we do have a little bit of an old donation bar, Empire Cup number 4, $293 raised for that. So if you'd like to contribute to ESOC events as well, there's the option to do that. Or if you'd like to, contribute a little bit to the charity during this event, consider a subscription, or I guess donating via Twitch bits, or you can consider donating to Sacred Heart themselves. There will be a link in the channel description as well. Maybe somebody can plug that in the Twitch chat if they'd like. Real quick, I just want to 1, 2, 3 UI options. No, game options. There we go. Always want to do that. But we have EAGLEMUT, Lucas L99 versus EAGLEMUT. EAGLEMUT spawning in the color blue, playing the India civilization, one of his best civilizations, his favorite. Going into game 1 on Hudson Bay Summer. He's spawning in the 1, 2, 3. I do not know my directions by the life of me, but it is the east side of the map. West side of the map, we have Lucas L99, playing in the color green, German civilization. I wouldn't say Germany is like one of like the civilizations that Lucas is most well known for, but he's certainly formidable with it. He's certainly used it in tournaments a lot. When you think of Lucas, you kind of think of like Aztec, China, Japan, Iroquois and Sioux, but you don't really think of Germany. Although he has, like I mentioned, played Germany plenty of times in tournaments, and he's definitely decent with it. But European civilizations are really not Lucas's cup of tea. But however, we're going to see a Germany versus India matchup in this game 1. I was talking a little bit about the strategy for EAGLEMUT going for India in Age 1. Sorry, not Age 1, Game 1. And how that was kind of a good option. Obviously, he's the underdog in this series. EAGLEMUT occupying seed number 27, and if I'm not mistaken, Lucas L99 at seed number 6. So quite a ways work for EAGLEMUT to win this series, but starting off with India, one of his best civilizations, gives him the best opportunity to do that. It is the Stay-at-Home Cup, so of course, the loser of this particular game will also get the opportunity to pick the next map in the series. Of course, it's best of 5. So, if you lose twice, you get to pick 2 maps out of your pool of 3 maps that you start the tournament with. I lost my train of thought there. Pretty much completely lost my train of thought there. So yeah, it's the Stay-at-Home Cup. If you lose in a particular game, you select the next map in the series from a designated pool of 3 starting maps that each player went into the tournament with. And it's a best of 5 series. I forgot what my point was with that, but either way, we see a lot of forward villagers for the India player. 3 forward villagers, in fact, which is an insane commitment. 3 villagers walking like, maybe 30 seconds forward to the middle of the map is a lot of resources lost. That's like maybe, I'm not going to try to calculate it, but I'd estimate maybe like 50 wood, something like that. But yeah, so it's a huge investment. We see EAGLEMUT, and it was even scouted out by Lucas. That's also important. So Lucas knows that EAGLEMUT is going to be going for a pretty aggressive aggro. It's not really situated in the best of spots, in my opinion. I feel like this aggro fort could have been like a little bit closer to the coastline. It doesn't have to be directly on the coast because, of course, Lucas is playing Germany, and Germany isn't really like a water boom type of civilization, so you're not really concerned about controlling the water in that way. Rather, I think what EAGLEMUT should have done is like place it right here so that it better constricts this line, this path for Lucas's units, because this aggro fort being in this position right here, What we're going to see a lot of, I think, is like a lot of little Yulin raids, a lot of plasticity for the way Lucas wants to maneuver around the map and harass EagleMut. And so I feel like this aggro 4 position is really questionable, and I'm not really a big fan of what EagleMut did here. We're just going to age up at a pretty good time. He's going to age up around 4 minutes and 30 seconds, same as Lucas. Usually, India ages up a little bit later, like around 4 minutes, 50 seconds, or 5 minutes. But in this case, he's going to get a pretty good age up time. It's 4 minutes 37. And that's going to expedite whatever build order he wants to go for. I think he had a shipment already ready on age up. So if he's going to plan to go for an aggressive build order, that's certainly going to be a little bit faster now that he did this, committed a little bit more to constructing that aggro and expediting that age up. Everything in regards to that. Huge stack of food and coin as well, so I wouldn't really be surprised to see units in queue. Sepoys. 5 Sepoys in queue, 6 Sepoys in queue. He had a huge bank of resources. But no economic investment for EagleMut, no market, no TP. He's going strictly all in here. Oh, whoa, okay, no, I was completely wrong. I'm going for 4 in logging instead as his first shipment in the colonial age, but really committing pretty hard to this Sepoy production. So here's what I was talking about. Like, that's why I didn't really like this aggro 4 position. Lucas immediately recognizing that he can just barrel straight towards EagleMut's base and harass villagers on the outside. Look at this tree is so far out, and now EagleMut is forced to garrison 10 villagers in the town center very early into the game, and that's actually going to kind of erase the progress he got with expediting that age up. I'm going to delay a lot. Still 1 full HP Yulin for Lucas out, and there we go. Just basic Expomen production. Lucas starting with a barracks and just, shipping 3 settler wagons to start with and producing some Expomen of his own. And that completely curtailed the aggression from EagleMut. So EagleMut pretty much getting hard countered right here. Penned up in base by 2 Yulins. His push, his mild aggression was completely countered by some limited Expomen production. And so EagleMut, even though he's actually, it's not so bad for him because at the end of the day, he's still got like a good economy behind this because he sent 4 in logging first. Still, things not really going as well according to plan as they potentially could have. Again, like I was mentioning earlier, like if this aggro were just right here, he wouldn't be getting raided. It's kind of that simple. He wouldn't be getting penned up and, forced to split his macro. Now he has to pay attention to his base, and that's taking away time that could be spent APMing Sepoys around the map. Also, it's getting pushed back by these small Expomen production, curtailing his aggression, and continuing to produce Sepoys, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, continuing to produce Sepoys, so no Gurkhas in queue for EagleMut, which would help him joust with these Expos. So even though they're on equal economy, I'd say Lucas has the better footing at the moment. He also has the better infrastructure, I would say. 2 barracks, and, at some point he's liable to send 700 coin and get an expedited age up, at least in comparison to the India player, who has to construct a wonder, which takes a lot of villager seconds to expedite if you wanted to do that, and when it doesn't, it takes a long time to build and get there. But the 8 Expomen shipment coming out for Lucas L99, also some pikemen in cover mode, helping him to, again, ward off the Sepoy pressure. And I think we might just see Lucas go in right now. He's got a really, really insane mass, and he's just, how many killed? Look at units lost. Killed already. Okay, 4 Sepoys isn't as much as I thought, but still, like, EagleMut's mass is so ridiculously low. Like, where are all his units? I mean, it's the 8-minute mark, and he's only lost 4 Sepoys, so why is his mass so low? Either way, Lucas is pushing in with a huge mass of Expo Pike, and at the very least, I mean, we're going to see this consulate go down, right? A little questionable with the Expo in here, failing with that attack move, but still getting 2 redcoats and going to kill 2 villagers as well. Really looking grim for EagleMut right now. I really don't know what there is that he can do. He had a late consulate come out. got this invested that into redcoats, but what is 15 musketeer type units going to do against 25 expo? Training some Rajputs as well. It's difficult EagleMut, but like I was saying, what's it really gonna do? It's still getting harassed in base by Yulins. Ooh, beautiful Rajput pop here. Also synchronized with a batch that was popping out. I'm gonna make mincemeat of these pikemen. Look at this. 18 hand attack versus what? 4! 4 because they're still in cover mode. Oh my god. Those pikemen getting absolutely handled, but EagleMut going back. Why are you going back? Just go in. I mean, he did lose his explorers, these these Mahout Lancers, which are really important to stifling Expoman progress. But I kind of feel like he could have just committed to that. I mean, it probably would have been still a losing play. I can't really fault him for that because we see some reinforcements coming in for Lucas. But I felt like EagleMut was kind of okay there to just continue the engagement. Either way, this aggro fort is going to go down, and that's going to give Lucas so much experience. Basically half a shipment there. I didn't see how much experience it was. Maybe like 320 experience? Either way, the Yulin pressure only just now finally getting taken out. Lucas working from a massive score advantage. Also his distribution, no, still going for the unit production in age 2. Although he did send 700 coin just now. Let's see if he adds in a stable or tries to distribute to age up. I would figure this is, he's going to try to add in a stable later. Because he's already so ahead, so he may as well commit to the age 2 plan. His opponent is so far behind, doesn't have the infrastructure to keep up production. So as long as Lucas is taking even engagements from this point out, eventually EagleMut's just going to pet her. And look at this pressure in base, taking down so many houses. Definitely going to, again, just stifle this production for EagleMut. And when is EagleMut ever going to get ahead militarily? The answer is he isn't. And it's looking really difficult from this point. So EagleMut playing a little bit sloppy, a lot of lost villagers so far. I mean, already 8 villagers lost. Imagine he had 8 villagers, he might actually be, he wouldn't be economically ahead given the economic upgrades, but would have been doing decent. These Rajput's really doing a great job versus these pikemen. I mean, this pikeman mass, even though it's in cover mode to sponge up some ranged fires, really been dwindled a lot. Also, these Yulins, still so many units for EagleMut on the board comparatively, and I wish he would focus down these Expomen because those are what's really dealing the damage to him. And look at that. The range backing does so much damage. And yeah, I mean, just focus fire down the crossbowmen here, and you're kind of okay. I mean, you're not okay overall, but you would be okay to at least hold this engagement. But yeah, like I mentioned, just seeing a commit from Lucas, just going to continue to produce age 2 units. He's already feeling so far ahead that he doesn't really need to do anything all that special in order to keep up the pressure and close out the game. EagleMut calling GG there. And so that'll be the first game in our series going to, what do you call him, the overdog, I guess? Lucas LN9, the favorite player in this series, the higher seed, compared to EagleMut. Like I said, this is the Stay-at-Home Cup, $750 on the line in the tournament. And, round of 32. If I didn't mention that already, sorry, zoned out, forgot there. But this is a best of 5, so Lucas leading the series. However, it's the Stay-at-Home Cup, and so as part of the tournament's special rules, EagleMut's going to get the opportunity to choose the the map going into the next game, after which Lucas will lock his civilization, and EagleMut will get the opportunity to counterpick. Pull up. Here's Thread. Get their pools. I'm sure the players know each other's pools, but I just want to get it for reference on stream. Have to navigate the forums. Oop, that's the wrong copy paste. So Lucas, this is his pool of maps: Manchuria, Hudson Bay Summer, Arkansas, EAGLEMUT with Zavkhan, Yalu River, and Cerrado. And so because EAGLEMUT was the loser of game 1, he picks the map. Yalu River. Nah, it's just... if I'm speaking frankly, I mean, EAGLEMUT is a formidable player. He is actually a tournament winner. He did win the, I think it was the New Year's Classic lower bracket. So EAGLEMUT does have a medal underneath his belt. However, Lucas is, one of the PR40 versus PR26. Speaking frankly, I don't expect this series to last that long. Samwise12, thank you for the subscription. So all right. Aztec versus Ports. I actually quite like this, especially on Yalu River. Now, Aztec is a pretty good water civilization themselves. Of course, we all know Portuguese has an affinity for the water as well. But I think overall, it's a pretty favorable matchup for Portuguese. Just the power of the colonial militia card stifles any potential Age 2 aggression. So Lucas is definitely going to have to play the matchup in a more technological-oriented fashion. With a fast fortress or a fast industrial. That's what I would expect from him. Whereas EAGLEMUT will kind of have to play in a way. He'll definitely have to boom hard on the water if he wants to counter some sort of technological play, because I don't think he could do so by pure land play. I think Portuguese is a civilization, if they do like standard land stuff, with no advanced trading post or stagecoach utilization, then they kind of just get strangled by, FIs from other civilizations. One matchup in particular that comes to mind is the Chinese versus Portuguese matchup, in which the Chinese FI usually just absolutely clobbers anything that Portuguese can do. So in a similar fashion, an Aztec fast industrial could be really difficult for Portuguese to hold. Of course, EAGLEMUT spawning to the north of the map in the color blue. And Lucas, on the other hand, Aztec, color green to the southwest. Now the map is Yalu River, so both players start with 2 fishing boats in this Utay's little river. Look at those graphics. I'm not on min graphics. I've got decent graphics settings. Look at that lighting on this water. It's so serene and beautiful. The pink water, my god. It's just gorgeous. And the map designed by Danzel92. A new addition to the ESOC patch. Like I mentioned, both players starting with 2 fishing boats, which can also be used to ferry explorers across to the other side of the map where there's bountiful resources. I think all of the mines, they're tin mines, so they don't have the normal 2,000 coin in them. Instead, it's 1,500 coin. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mines on the mainland, I guess you would call it. So a very low coin count on the bulk, or at least the starting portion of the map, where both of the town centers for each player spawns. Already ferried his explorer across to the other side. We also see it's not a stagecoach line. It's a trading line, but the stagecoach technology is disabled on this side. And that was done for balance purposes by the map's designer. I think it provides an interesting dynamic. So I'm actually interested. I wouldn't expect EagleMut to go for an ATP build order on this map in particular. Actually, still hasn't chosen a deck, so maybe EagleMut is just saving for crate spam. Maybe he's gonna commit to land. No, we see in fact 3 villagers going to. Oh, okay. So 3 villagers going over to be ferried to the other side by the fishing boat, and maybe gonna build a dock on this side. He's got the wood for it. Oh. We do see the explorer ferried to the other side for Lucas, as well as a pet monitor lizard. Yeah, so we do see the dock coming out on the other side for EagleMut, which I quite like because, you know, if Lucas's explorer was still on this side of the map, he wouldn't be able to scout a potential dock for the Portuguese player. Now, I think Lucas is a little bit smarter than the average bear, though. So he's probably aware that even if he were to scout out this side of the coast, there's always the opportunity for EagleMut to have built a dock on the other side, which in this particular case is true. However, he hasn't scouted it as of yet, now beginning to scout out the other side of the map. 3 warrior priests, the first shipment for Lucas L99. No shipment yet for Lucas, not even schooners. But do we see a water boom coming out yet? It's in queue. Actually, not going for any production yet. Maybe waiting for schooners? Hello? So we don't even see schooners in deck, actually. A very heavy water deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 6. I counted economic theory. So 6 water-oriented cards, but no schooners. Just a little bit curious. Starting with 2 caravels. This is actually really interesting because, as we can see, Lucas hasn't built a dock yet. And because of that, once he loses these 2 fishing boats, he's not going to be able to bring his explorer over back to the other side. Oh, but we do see a war hut, although it's just now being constructed. If the caravels scout that out on time, he might be able to siege it down with the broadside attack. And, I mean, let's take a look at the deck. There is 3 privateers in deck for Lucas, so he will have a mechanism by which to take back that water. Even killing the villager. Now just gotta scout out the boats. Come on, baby. Oh, and maybe even building a dock on this side? I would love to see that. And now, pretty much at this point, you know, besides a Fortress Age game plan or any aggression coming out over here, I'd like to see EagleMut prepare for a 3 privateer shipment. So there's pretty much the few avenues from which Aztec can play this out. So we're now seeing a war hut. I wonder if that's scouted. I think it's scouted out, but I'm not sure. It does look like the caravel is in range, but I think the war hut's gonna go up. It's gonna take a lot of damage. And it's not gonna be up for long. Sacking it! Completely gone! That's a lot of wood too, given how far in development that was. That was like 225 wood. Building an outpost. Building another dock towards like the middle side of the pond. Now Lucas, he does have 10 warrior priests at the moment, so his economy is pretty good. He's definitely got like the better, like just more villagers overall and 10 warrior priests working for him. So he's gonna have a super expedited shipment curve. Look at that, already another shipment. Oh Jesus, it's just ridiculous. Okay, he's still deciding what to send actually. But so much XP for Lucas at this point. Warrior priest gathering on the XP generation dance. Dancing, I guess. Seems like Lucas is gathering for the 500 privateer shipment. 500 coin privateer shipment. Gonna try to wrest back that water as soon as possible. But yeah, those were pretty much the win conditions or the counterplay options that I could see from Lucas. I could have seen him going for like a fast fortress or a fast industrial from this point forward, and just letting EagleMut have control over the water, and then going for a barrel on push on EagleMut's what would likely be at that point in the game that Lucas was pushing out, a very weak position on the rest of this island, just taking this for complete control. for himself. I could have also seen him going for like some aggression at this original town center, just some H2 aggro, or what we're going to see coming out from him right now, which is the 3 privateer shipment. Likely as soon as that pops. Okay, so we actually do see the war hut right now. And I think this is just... It's not out of line of sight for EAGLEMUT, but it is out of range for the caravels to harass that. So really good placement by Lucas there. And this thing does have a 40 range, so this is going to get some insane range to, again, like I said, wrest control of the water. But what Lucas doesn't know is that there's an outpost right here. So these 3 privateers are going to pop, and I'm not even sure if all of them are going to spawn, to be honest. Because, you know, okay, so thank God they did, right? We'll have to see how this engagement goes. 1 caravel, not quite down, but taking a lot of damage. Sunk already, but 1 privateer down as well. And oh my God! Oh, the caravel just getting knocked out. But look at this, one of these privateers, really low HP. In the outpost, putting in a lot of work, and a train caravel coming. Woo! That is some heat, baby! Oh, this counterplay by Lucas is just getting completely shut out. Even a dock providing some fire, so there is nowhere for Lucas to go. You know, he's got war huts on the coast now, but to what effect? He's completely lost the water now. He has no more shipments in Age 2. He is distributing to Age up to the Fortress Age, where he does have the 2 Tlaloc canoe shipment. He could also go industrial if he wanted. 3 Tlaloc canoes there. Tlaloc canoes are really, really ridiculously strong. But I think in isolation, that wouldn't be enough to really hold the water. Either way, you know, 600 wood, pardon me, 600 coin now coming in, being gathered up, and we're going to see Lucas going up to the next age. Although I think he already used the Age of Fast Politician, so he's not going to be hitting up to Fortress particularly fast. What else has been going on? We actually see Lucas trying to go for the Zen Temple. He has gotten 2 of these trading posts as well. Pretty nice pickup. But using the Minutemen from this nearby town center to take down the villager, which is kind of interesting because now Lucas will be able to ransom him back on this side. And I'm not sure he really needs anything more from this side of the map. He's already built some trading posts. And he can't get a stagecoach line, so it's not as if there's anything more to do other than build the trade posts. But yeah, this trade post is going to go down. At the Zen Temple, there is like some decent techs and infantry. All damages up by 10% is pretty cool. It's not even expensive. 150 food, 150 coin. It's also basically a mercantilism light. 350 wood, 350 coin for 1000 XP. And meritocracy, 300 food, 300 coin for minus 20% on all unit upgrades. I don't think that's a particularly good upgrade for the native civilizations in particular, because their upgrades are already so cheap. Either way, if you look at the distribution, Lucas almost hitting up to the Fortress Age. I think I'm pretty sure what I can expect Lucas to go for here. I think he's going to go directly up to the Industrial Age himself. It's going to be a little bit slow, you know. He spent some time gathering that 500 coins, sinking that into resources to try and wrest back the water. Didn't quite pan out for him, so kind of just delayed himself for no reason there. Yes, he did. But he did get these 2 war huts out of it. The time to build these 2 war huts, and it does provide him some line of sight as to what's going on the water, and also kind of makes the pathing a little bit more awkward for EAGLEMUT along this river in Korea. Yalu River is based on, I think, a river just north of Korea, separating the Korean and Chinese border. I'm starting to move out along the map as well, taking this middle coin mine. Also, the 2 nobles' huts, which I think were the aged politician, being built along the coast. Explorer alive for Lucas L99. I'm not entirely sure how it was revived, but we won't ask questions on that, I guess. Maybe save that for the recorded game. I'm just kidding. Alt-D actually isn't even possible on ESOC patch anymore. 6 Arrow Knights, the shipment coming out for Lucas L99. In fact, I was kind of wrong in my valuation. So it doesn't seem as though EAGLEMUT's actually, sorry, not EAGLEMUT, Lucas is going for a fast industrial. It seems rather he's just going for noble hut production. Lots and lots of Arrow Knights out on the field right now, and a dock coming up. So he's definitely going to try to build something that can ferry him across, whether that be a Tlaloc canoe or just a regular canoe or a war canoe or whatever. But these Arrow Knights are going to just put in so much work. 30 range versus, what, 20 for these caravels? Oof. They do so much damage to them as well. I think they do the full 36 siege damage. What? What? Across the river. Oh my god. Wow. Taking down that advanced dock, but not committing to it. I don't understand why. Okay, so he's just going to try to get ferried across, I guess. Might lose one of these Tlaloc canoes in the process, though. Oh, I'm not sure if Tlaloc canoes can garrison in the dock, but normal canoes can. However, with advanced dock shipped and also Team Coastal defenses, this dock, with just a few fishing boats, and it does so much damage to these canoes. What are you doing? What are you doing, Lucas? At least siege that one down if you're not going to... Anything with this? Come on, ferry him across. Come on, macro a little bit better. Come on, come on, come on, come on. So many Arrow Knights, though. It's crazy. This is not something you see every day. EAGLEMUT trying his best, but really, you look at his economic advantage, and it's not really there. I mean, for having complete control over the sea, his boom has been really, really lackluster. And, you know, even though technically he's quote-quote working an advantage villager-wise right now, I don't think that's really true when you also have to factor in that Lucas has 10 warrior priests streamlining his XP curve. Look at this. We're just going to... I want to see shipments sent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shipments for EAGLEMUT. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? 12 shipments for Lucas? There you go. That's the power of 10 warrior priests. I don't even know how to like quantify that in terms of resources. Just 7 shipments ahead in the progression. That's ridiculous. But now he's got a pretty decent navy here. Starting to heal this Tlaloc canoe at the dock as well. Unfortunately not ferrying his units across yet. I really think you just... Come on, I mean, Lucas, the distance is so short. I don't care if you're taking, like, however much damage from the outpost anti-ship attack. Just ferry him across. Good lord. Finally! Thank you! Time is now 15 minutes in. Okay. But either way, Lucas making a lot of progress. I'm not sure what that was. Was it a barracks or town center? Town center wagon? Now Lucas making a lot of progress with these Arrow Knights. I mean, what can EAGLEMUT do to counter this? EAGLEMUT is an H3. A decent amount of food. Maybe he's going to try to send 1,000 coin and go up to industrial, but even once he's up in industrial, what's he going to do? He's going to lose the complete south side of this map. I mean, he's got 750 wood and 2 villagers over here. 3 villagers. And none of these buildings are surviving, I can guarantee you that. Gonna have to run away these 3 villagers. Also the explorer dead. Maybe trying to catch that? I'm not sure. Oh, even more wood. And a dock. And another outpost. And another caravel. And building another dock. Pardon me, another outpost. So investing so much resources over here. But for what? For what? Like, you should know you're not going to be able to hold these Arrow Knight, like, all this siege pressure from the Aztec players. So I don't see a point in really investing more to the south side. Rather, I would focus on, you know, what is your win condition? And I'm not even sure that EAGLEMUT knows what his win condition is. He does have a fort going up. But what's a fort to 30 Arrow Knights? Kind of feels like the scenario Cannibal Defense. If anybody has ever played that. It's a scenario where you basically have one person in the middle. He has a fort, or like a little walled base, and a noble's hut in the middle. And he's allowed to train Jaguar Prowl Knights and Eagle Runner Knights exclusively. And the opposition is 7 players running around at crazy speeds with villagers, building outposts and walls. That's kind of what it feels like right now. EAGLEMUT is building a lot of defensive structures into a lot of Aztec siege. And while Cannibal Defense, you know, pretty often the non-cannibals, the ones trying to escape the quote-quote cannibal, the Aztec player, they usually win, but winning doesn't seem like like it's in the cards for EagleMut here. You can see, just looking at the scores, Lucas is 80 score ahead, or 60 score, pardon me, math. Um, and besides that, EagleMut really isn't even economically ahead. So, you know, the thing about a water boom is that if you're going to commit to it, you want a massive economic lead, a massive one, like 30 village. You want to be 30 villagers ahead, and that'll, you know, compensate the early game presence you sacrificed. However, for EagleMut here, the boom didn't really work out, so he kind of sacrificed everything in the early game for not much avail. We do see a frigate out, and that's going to do pretty well against these Arrow Knights, seeing as the units have the same range, and the frigate is a really high DPS unit. Now the frigate versus the Tlaloc canoe. Tlaloc canoe even being tasked to water dance by Lucas. Yeah, it seems like this Tlaloc canoe is going to solo the frigate, if I'm not mistaken. I think the frigate, or pardon me, the Tlaloc canoe was actually missing a few of its arrow shots. But either way. EagleMut doing a pretty good job to fight back with that caravel. He was able to push the Arrow Knights away. Wow, look at that range. And with 10 Dragoons, he was also able to combat them. So that's okay, I guess. But now working with a massive economic disadvantage. And not really winning the militaristic fight either. You know, now he does have 15 Dragoons. That's going to do pretty well against these Arrow Knights. Some stealth drag bar prowls coming forward, though. And Lucas just massing up his navy here. Under great pressure. At this point, you know, strategically, things are pretty even for both players. I mean, it's looking like kind of a standard game if you ignore the water. Like, Lucas has control of the mid-map, and, you know, he's kind of on the contained game plan, whereas EagleMut kind of has, you know, his section of the map. A little bit defensive, you know, he's got this fort to help him hold, but yeah, I mean, I think EagleMut's game plan was to have complete control over the river and then have complete control over this side, a very resource-dense northwest side of the map. That didn't pan out here, unfortunately. Lucas was able to get back control of the water, and EagleMut, behind it, his boom wasn't even all that great, and so economically, Lucas is just bounding ahead, now even going to the industrial age. Lucas now up to the Industrial Age, sending the Temple of Santiago support, which also, I think it grants Mace Walton an additional 20% hit points, as well as 2 additional range. So these Mace Walton, they have 18 range and massive DPS versus Dragoon type units. One of Portuguese's mainstays. Let's see if I got that correct. 25% hit points. And some upgrades coming in. Elite Mace Walton and likely the Guard equivalent going to come in soon as well. Although a big Dragoon mass might be able to get a cost-effective trade against these Mace Walton. Look at them melt. Nice job. However, things on the coast are also not really going to Lucas's, EagleMut's favor. I think Lucas is on the water dance and is pushing in with his navy of canoes. His armada of canoes. But also getting pushed in on land by a massive Jaguar Prowls. And losing his original town center, as well as a bunch of villagers in it. So I think EagleMut's build order and his strategy was pretty interesting. You know, he committed pretty hard to, you know, he sent shipments that would allow him to control the river a lot. So I think that was his game plan. You know, wrest control of the river very early, and with that, send shipments that would also allow him to, you know, keep control of that. What he didn't anticipate was a mass of 20 Arrow Knights just clobbering his warships, his docks, and all of his outposts. And behind that, his economy wasn't very developed, so he wasn't able to get the necessary counter units in order to stifle that pressure from the Arrow Knights and the Fortress Age Aztec units. And so things, I mean, once Lucas got out on the coast, he pretty much bisected EagleMut's control of the water and took control of the south side again for himself. Even trained a few fishing boats of his own. And EagleMut, without a great economic advantage behind all of this, that was kind of left high and dry, his strategy falling to pieces. You can see this boom for EagleMut never really took off. I want to see the building count as well. And here just getting swamped by those Arrow Knights. And that does put Lucas 2-0 up in the series. And so it's EagleMut's chance to pick the map again. Cannot be Yalu, so it has to be either Zavkhan or Cerrado. After that, Lucas will lock his civilization yet again. Cannot be Aztec. Cannot be Germany. Oh, going for Sioux. Lucas L99 electing to lock in the Sioux, and so EagleMut will get his opportunity to counterpick. EagleMut can still choose any civilization of his choosing. So if he wanted to choose Portuguese or India again, he would be free to do so. EagleMut having a really good hard think about this. He does have 14 choices, so I can understand the fatigue of deciding on one in particular. I'm going for Iroquois. That's curious. I mean, we're locking into Serato. I know that on Serato, I would be going for one civ and one civ in particular. And I think as soon as we spawn in, you, the viewer, might have the same idea as me, the caster. But this is game number 3 in our best of 5 series, round of 32, $750 ESOC Stay-at-Home Cup. I forgot if I mentioned it. Round of 32, upper bracket, best of 5 series. Lucas L99 leading 2 points. EagleMut on the board with Zip. But here is Serato. I think this is the competitive debut of this map, at least on stream. So we have Lucas L99 playing this Sioux, his locked civilization in the color green. Blends in very well with the map. Great strategic choice by Lucas here. EagleMut, on the other hand, he's playing in the color blue as the Iroquois. This was his counter pick, counter to Lucas's Sioux. He was probably feeling comfortable for this matchup. Serato, a map. Look at all these luscious, delicious berries out and about, scattered everywhere. And if you know a civilization that really enjoys its vegetarian diet, I feel that's kind of a prime pick for this map. However, we don't see either player going for that this game, which is kind of interesting. Sioux, interestingly enough, they do get a card. Unfortunately, Lucas does not have it in deck here. There's a card called a Great Hunter, and I believe it also affects berries. Even if it doesn't, there's also a card called Spice Trade, and sometimes the natives have send that card. It's not very common in the metagame anymore. It used to be common in like the 2012 to 2013 metagame, but it's kind of fallen out of favor for crates, unit shipments, unit upgrades, and the like. But we don't see that for Lucas in this game in particular. So neither civ really having berry upgrades outside of the expensive farm, which I'm not sure if EagleMut is going to elect to use his Discovery Age Travois for in this game in particular. I don't think it was a wood crate start, ostensibly. I don't see any wooden bank for either player. I don't see a wood crate on the floor. So I don't think EagleMut's really going to have an option of what to do with that Discovery Age Travois besides putting it into construction for a longhouse. Although sleeping a little bit, you might be popped. Might be going for something very, very aggressive, EagleMut here. Is he saving the Discovery Travel? I mean, what's that gonna build? Like a stable in H2? Definitely seems he's going all in here, though. Either way, Serato, there's still plenty of hunts on the map as well. We can see some capybaras. They are quite well hidden, though. They kind of blend into the map texture. There's also a 3 trading post line on the map. Is stagecoachable, contrary to Yalu River. But Lucas almost on the way up himself. EAGLEMUT, whoa, never mind. What is this? A 2-minute 45 age up time. Big, I mean, EAGLEMUT constructing a longhouse with a villager, so sinking in 125 wood for that. Also with the Discovery Chwavois, sending that forward now to build question mark. A corral, okay, there's 1, and 2, a war hut, okay. Did send 3 villagers, so no shipment in queue yet. So despite this very aggressive build order from EAGLEMUT, not really getting the most of this extremely expedited age up time. No units are going to be in queue. I mean, maybe EAGLEMUT's going to have some tomahawks in queue at the moment now. Looking at the units in queue, but he's definitely not going to be able to make use of this stable right away. So I don't really know what's going through EAGLEMUT's head right now. But you see some tomahawks in queue. Probably going to be able to get a full batch here of 5 tomahawks. But my question then is, so what? You know, with 5 tomahawks on the field, also housed right now. So do you see the 5 tomahawks? They are going to go over to siege this trading post, which is kind of cool. You know, it's kind of like getting 180 wood. It's actually a really nice pickup. Lucas isn't even going to be able to sneak in building this, so he's going to try, but... Oh, it was so high risk. Oh, that was so lucky. He just got up. He was at risk of losing his Explorer, but hit up at the exact moment he needed to. I don't know if that was really well planned by Lucas or just a little bit lucky, but he's going to escape with his Explorer's life. Unfortunately, he did lose that trading post, though, and he's going to lose like maybe 150 wood in the process. That foundation was quite a ways built. But 6 tomahawks popping out the first shipment in Discovery Age for Lucas, pardon me, for EAGLEMUT. But again, I'm kind of asking, what's the so what? We do see him pick up a 20% Explorer HP upgrade, treasure, pardon me. And again, that's cool, but what's the so what? I mean, EAGLEMUT aged 2 Colonial at 2 minutes 45 seconds! But he's not pushing in, he's not doing anything besides picking up a few treasures, which he could have done the same if he had just done a normal build order. But now he's at a massive economic disadvantage. If he had just done a standard build order, he would have had so many more villagers. He would have had the same pressure, but a lot more villagers in the back. So he's kind of just shot himself in the foot. We do see some Ayana production as well. 4 Kanyas also pop up. So this is a decent looking push, but again, my question is, what's the so what? Look at what Lucas has on the field. This looks like plenty enough to hold what EAGLEMUT is fielding. He's going to have to be careful, especially with these Seton bows, but these Seton bows are really good at fending off these tomahawks. And yeah, Lucas, I mean, there is a score difference, but I think Lucas is in a really good position. His economy is like not behind whatsoever, even though I think if EAGLEMUT did a standard build order, he might have Lucas might have actually been behind, but I don't think Lucas is behind at this point. He did send 7 war clubs first, didn't get the TP, which is really unfortunate for him, so his XP curve is going to be slowed down a little bit. But yeah, like I was saying, I mean, I really don't think EAGLEMUT made the most of his build order. I don't think he maximized what he was trying to do, and I think he's, by virtue of having elected to go for an all-in build order, aging up with 12 villagers to the Colonial Age, he's just a little bit worse off. Still, we see Lucas trying to piece things together. Next shipment, pretty much mirrored. You see unit shipments coming out for both players. 4 Axe Riders now being shipped for Lucas, and the engagement is going to go down. Outside of the range of the TP, I think that's important to note. These seed and bows are really, like I mentioned, they're just so good at focus firing down these tomahawks. And look at this now. Lucas is working with the military advantage. An additional 3 Kanya horsemen trained for EAGLEMUT. But behind it, his economy is falling behind. He's sacking so much to get this production out. 18 villagers to 21 now. And in addition to that, EAGLEMUT does not have a market, so he has no plasticity with his resource gathering. He can't market trade, for example. Whereas Lucas has TPs boosting his villagers' gather rate as well as hunting dogs. So not only does he have the villager lead, but he has the better upgrades and better quote-quote technology, I guess. I don't know what to refer to these TPs as, but regardless, they're an economic benefit. Now, as well, the Kanyas of EAGLEMUT get ensnared. And this is looking really bad. And these war clubs are so speedy. They have 5 base speed, and then I think with the Explorer they have 5.75 speed, so just 1 speed slower than the Kanya Horsemen. So speedy. Again, Lucas still sitting with a military advantage, so not only working an economic advantage, but at this point working the military advantage just in terms of numbers, not even in terms of unit strength or composition, which I think at this point is still to the favor of Lucas. So we see the war clubs going in first on the exposed hyena, but not committing. Just going to siege down the corral at this point. Trading off Setons for the hyena. Kanya's trying to wrap around and threaten the Setons, but still getting warded off. Gonna maybe lose the Explorer? Explorer going down for Lucas, and that's pretty big. However, the corral successfully sieged down. EAGLEMUT losing his ability to produce cavalry from this point forward. Lucas jockeying, actually losing a lot of war clubs in the process. These units just walking so much, but not accomplishing much in the way of damage. A lot of the cavalry for Lucas also has been weathered down. But now the war clubs are in cover mode, trying to be focus fired down by EAGLEMUT. And actually, I think this is a pretty good engagement for EAGLEMUT. Obviously, it's still really close, but all of the cavalry of the Sioux player has been taken down. There's only a few war clubs left, and now it's just Iroquois infantry versus Seton bows. And this is really, really good. Even the Explorer is still alive for EAGLEMUT. It's now being focus fired down, but he's still got a cavalry left too. 1 Kanya horseman. This is looking great for EAGLEMUT. Now, I'm not going to say EAGLEMUT is homebound. He's still working at an economic disadvantage, and it is really big at this point. 7-ville disadvantage, but he won that engagement and won it pretty handily. I mean, it's still kind of tight. I mean, it's only a 6-unit advantage EAGLEMUT is working with at the moment. And now also sending 5-ville is going to help him to, lessen that economic gap. Although, like I mentioned, still, I don't think there's a market out for EAGLEMUT, so he's not going to be able to get any upgrades or trade to better balance his resource distribution if it happens to go awry. Stable now being built for Lucas in the back, but he is relegated to berry bushes now. Not having the posture around the map to, extend out for another capybara hunt. In fact, I think he's exhausted pretty much all of the capybaras on his side. There's pretty much only one more capybara hunt left. Oh, it's actually a tapir hunt. And either way, it's really far out and not in a position he could vie for. So yeah, like I said, relegated to berries, and even now that hunting dogs upgrade isn't really doing all that much for him. The TPs are still working though, and that's pretty cool. Giving him a small economic advantage. But yeah, EAGLEMUT is on capybaras himself, so he still has natural huntables, which is going to work in his favor, This is actually really tight. I mean, the Explorer is now alive for Lucas. He did lose 1 unit in process, but now he's going to get away with Explorer. However, EAGLEMUT the same, reviving his Explorer named Forest Prowler. There was 700 coins shipped for Lucas as well. He's trying to pump that into what seems like Axe Rider production. Distributing pretty much all of his villagers over to food. Berries, that is. Yeah, and some passive gameplay from both players. A little bit tenuous about committing to an engagement. Seems one Axe Rider is being sent out to scout around for Lucas. Maybe see where a potential hunt might be, or scout out a location where Eagle might be gathering. Not necessarily one being sent out to raid, but more to gather some information. Likely EAGLEMUT straying pretty far from his war hut, scouting out with his infantry mass. Conservative tactics now being shipped for EAGLEMUT. And that's going to boost all of his infantry. 10% hit points, 10% attack. Really nice. Lucas, on the other hand, does he have a shipment? Yeah, he does have a shipment, I think, on the way, but I'm not sure what it is. It might be cavalry HP or attack, perhaps. Now, Lucas trying to go in again, getting some siege damage on this outpost, on this war hut. Oh, and getting some really nice positioning on these Aena. All of these. Oh, actually going back with the Axe Riders. Actually, there was a really good surround for these Tomahawks, but going forward now, a lot of DPS from the Seton Bows on these Tomahawks, which is going to go really well for Lucas, but now, oh, huge crack shot from the Iroquois War Chief, as well, Konya Horsemen on the Seton Bows, so now the Seton Bows aren't dealing effective DPS, a lot of them going down, a few Bow Riders reinforcing in the back, but Lucas really not doing a great job controlling here, taking a lot of superfluous damage, not maximizing his DPS, and he's just getting ripped apart. And you know, while the scores are still even, I think EAGLEMUT is in a commanding position. His military in H2 is just vastly better. He's got vastly superior infantry. The upgrade cards are starting to roll in. He's also got better presence around the map, still hunting on these herdables. So his resource collection is actually going to be, okay, maybe not that much better because Lucas does have a lot more villagers, but I don't know. I think EAGLEMUT is actually in a really good position. And to be honest, I'd like to just see EAGLEMUT commit a little bit. Or at least jockey a little bit. I mean, he could at least, you know, try to siege down this market and prod at Lucas, if not commit to an engagement. Just pressure a little bit and see what he's up to, you know? What is he trying to mass? Now, at this point, I think the town center big button is still available to Lucas L99, so at this point he could get 5 dog soldiers. They would be colonial dog soldiers, so not the strongest. However, you know, being, like I mentioned, relegated to these berry bushes, gathering up the 1,500 food necessary to call that big button is a pretty tall order. Sure, has EAGLEMUT even built a market yet, at least? No market, no stable, just pure unit production. I'm trying to catch one of these, this raid with, oh! Novel. Using the villagers to block that Axe Rider so his Konya Horseman could catch up and snare it. However, we're still kind of seeing the ramifications of EAGLEMUT's initial build order just holding him back. I mean, he's still top capped and missing the wood to get an additional longhouse. Still no market, not great infrastructure. And like I mentioned, I feel like if EagleMut had just done a standard build order, not gone so all in for what was really just a completely unspectacular aggression, he would have been in such a better position at this stage of the game. And even though those initial engagements had gone so much to EagleMut's favor, by waiting so long, he's kind of risking throwing it all away. Now a huge raid coming in for Lucas, gonna take down one villager. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as well as denying this market. Seems like that was maybe 4 or 5 villagers. But penning up a bunch more and putting a lot of these other villagers at risk. Ooh. Oh my lord. That looks like 11 villagers down for EagleMut, at least. And now you take a look at the recalc, and there's only one option left. There's only one option left for EagleMut, and that's to win a commanding engagement. Now, this is very risky. I don't like this. Konya Horsemen directly into the Bow Riders, and that is a win condition. You need those Konya Horsemen to stay alive so you can tackle the Ceylon bow mass. Oh, but all those Konya Horsemen got melted, and, like, you don't want to kill the Sioux's villagers. The villagers don't matter to him at this point. He's still going to have an economic advantage, even if he lost all of those. Oh, and now a great surround for Lucas, the Sioux player, completely surrounded, making mincemeat of these Iroquois tomahawks. EagleMut is completely exposed. His explorer is nowhere to be found. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, EagleMut, why? Oh. Oh, and what was looking like... Oh, it was looking like EagleMut could pull through. Thought he had it. I thought he might too. Oh, no. Fall into pieces, unfortunately. That will see Lucas L99 advancing to the next round, the round of 16, where I think he'll be facing one of two opponents. Let me check who that might be. Lucas advancing to the round of 16, he will face either Optimus Prime or Alligator 92. And as for EagleMut, he's still in the tournament, but he's being dropped down to the lower bracket round of 64. We're not sure what his who his opponent will be. I believe it will be either way. I'm not going to look at it right now. But yes, so that's the series for Lucas versus EagleMut, round of 32. A 3-0 victory for Lucas, but this last game, oh, heart-wrenching. There was the potential for EagleMut to win, but like I mentioned, not piecing it together, unfortunately. But curious to see this all resources gathered, and just look at that disparity. That's so unfortunate. Yeah, I just think, there were so many times that EagleMut was he's didn't queue villagers in order to maximize his military unit population. But look at this, even at the timing, the 9-minute timing, Lucas had more units. So yeah, like I mentioned, just, you didn't need to go so all in. You didn't need to go so all in. You could have done the same build order, but with more economy behind it. So, EagleMut. Either way, that's the series. Well played to Lucas, and we'll see him in the round of 16.